Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Plus3 Futures and Commodities Show monthly edition. It is Sunday, September 4th, Labor Day weekend, and we're recording. My name is Ben Maldonado, and as always, I am here with my partner, Barry Hederachi. How are you, Barry?
Doing pretty well.
Got a lot to cover on a monthly basis today. We're going to do Bitcoin, stock indices, bonds, grains, metals, softs, energy.
All right.
So we got a lot to cover. And let's start with Bitcoin.
Mhm.
Bitcoin, as we've been detailing on the daily, and it's no different on the monthly, it's just in a very weak position. Put in this ABC today when I was doing the review of these monthlies just to see where we got, and it puts us right into the same range we were looking at for on the daily, where that 12,000 to 9,000, depending upon which ABC you're on. This is about 11,700. Key things here are, the full square, roughly call it 31,000. Below that is bearish, and then you got this half square that's been holding price so far at around 17.5. The frustrating thing, I'm sure, for both bulls and bears, if you're looking at it from a big picture, is we're going to be working on now the third month in a row inside. All this price action has been inside the June bar. So not much has changed with Bitcoin. It continues to be bearish, marking time here and just waiting for the next move out of here. Do we lose this half square and then go down and complete the ABC, or even go down to the full square? Or can we break up and sit on top of this? So from a monthly basis, there's no change at all. It's kind of dead in the water being inside for 3 straight months. Anything else you're seeing here on Bitcoin?
Yeah, it looks lower because I'm not hearing any screams of pain yet. Since we made a high last month, taking out that low, last month's low is going to be key. We
And
might kind of get a swoosh.
Yeah, we're close.
We're good.
All right, let's go to the stock indices. We'll start with ES. The thing that really stands out to me on a monthly basis here, other than the fact that we made a high and a low, and now we have a lower high, and now we're trying to see if we're going to make that lower low or not with the next push down. If we complete the ABC, we're coming down basically into this full square area of 3,100, 3,150. But the real battle, the real important battle right now is at the top of this full square. In this 3,950 to 4,000 range. Call it 3,900 to 4,000, because you can see we're kind of oscillating around it. If we can sit on top of that on a monthly basis, you can say, okay, we're holding support. Maybe we can go up and challenge this half square again. But if we lose that, this is the next stop. 3,500. And if we lose that, then we'll go down and complete the ABC. But it's the reason we're seeing this congestion and this battle there, I believe, is because of this monthly level, and it's going to set the tone for which direction we go. Right now, looking at the shorter time frames and looking at the cycles, odds favor that the bears are going to win this battle, but we have to see how price goes. Anything else to add here on ES?
We're good.
Let's check out NQs. Similar story in NQs, but the battle's already been won. We came down sharply off the highs, found support on the half square, came up here, tested this full square. Let's see what that level is. Call it 13,000 and failed. All right, we've reversed this month. We took out last month's low, which the high was set, so we reversed. We're heading down here. Next stop is the March lows, or I'm sorry, the June lows. And then if we lose it, if we clear that, which, odds favor we will, you're looking at 9,500 on the full square.
Yeah.
Complete the ABC, you're talking around 8,000.
Wow.
But this is interesting because, the battle already happened here, and the bears won it. Anything else to add here on NQs? It's pretty simple, really.
Yeah, it's when it's simple, we should leave it simple. And we took out last month's low. It's important to notice that.
Already. Yep. Yeah, that was the reversal on a monthly basis right there when we took out that low. And the failure here, if you've watched our videos and you've seen, our weekly stuff, these are decision points, and this was a decision point, and we have an answer now, right? We failed at that level. The bulls failed at that level, and now we've reversed.
Right.
So that's pretty definitive there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's jump into bonds. Bonds are really interesting in that we talked about them on the weekly, and this monthly I'm going to do these rectangles and these squares and these sort of things that capturing past price action and projecting it on the current waves to sort of give an idea of where price could go if we repeat the last cycle or the last move in these markets.
Mm-hmm.
And on the 30-year, we've been bearish on the 30-year for quite a while. Again, last month we came up, tested this half square, couldn't, just barely got in the neighborhood of it. Couldn't even like push a little bit above it. And we've already reversed on this month's candle.
Right.
So that's, again, really bearish, failing here. And then you got a reversal, within the first week of the month, actually first few days of the month. So the next stop here on the monthlies is in the 126.5 area.
Mm-hmm.
That's next support on the full square. If we take a move of the full box, like what we did up here, 107, 108. The other thing I left on, because I know you were talking about this on the I think it was Crude, right? Your Crude in the Crude daily that you were doing. This is a circle I've been watching for a while on the 30-year bond. Nice fit, really going up nicely. Look what happened after we lost it. And Barry's been mentioning this. He says, once you break out of the circle, you get a strong move in the opposite direction. Well, there it is. It's a good example of how you can use those circles, and it can give you sort of a heads up to this sort of move coming for when it happens on Crude. So that's the bonds. Anything else to add on bonds?
Bonds, I think that close is important, and we closed below. We took out last month's low, so that's another negative, and it looks lower to me.
Yeah, and that's right. I didn't even mention it. I mentioned it on the Daily Show. We got to close below a 40-year trend line last month.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this white line is. That's huge.
Open and a close so far. So
yeah, for this month. I'm talking about last month actually closed below it. The previous month, we came down through it and then ended up closing back above it, but not in August. So this looks weak. Bonds look weak. All right, let's jump over into the grains. We'll start with wheat. The monthly has been coming down. This is the spike on the Ukraine war. We've been coming down. We found support on the full square last month, and now it looks like we're trying to build and move higher. We've been talking about this on the shorter time frames on a daily basis, as it's doing the right things it needs to do to move. On a monthly, the key thing here is we found support on the full square, and we're sort of staying above all of this price action, which is this 8-9 year base. Really, really important. I drew in the box of the last sort of the terminal move up in 07 and said, okay, what's the potential here? One final thrust higher, 1600, 1650. Yeah. So this is kind of what you want to see in a market like this. We've pulled back to a previous level of support where there were highs, and now we're trying to reverse out of here.
Right.
If we lose this level, got to reassess.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We lose this level, we got to say, okay, something else is going on. Maybe this last big move in wheat is not going to happen. So this 755 is key on a monthly basis. We don't want to see us get stuck under that. As long as we're above it, the potential is there for another thrust higher, one more push up. Anything jump out to you here on wheat?
No, just waiting for wheat to jump.
Exactly. And that's the lower time frames we're using for that to see when we can jump in.
Mm-hmm. And we got to keep an eye on to see if it's important to watch the previous month's highs and lows getting taken out. So like wheat, we'll be waiting to see the high get taken out. So here's corn again.
Yeah.
If the high gets taken out, that's definitely a plus.
Right, and we had a sharp pullback in corn, right? It failed here at the full square, sharp pullback, couldn't even make it down to the full square here, and now we've already reversed up. Last month we made a higher high, compared to the previous month. This month we're starting out, up near the high. Key level on a monthly basis right now is this half square, call it 664, 660, 665 area in there. As long as we stay on top of that, we should be able to challenge the full square. This is a box of sort of the last terminal move up in the last cycle of corn. If we get that kind of move, we're looking at 1100 corn possible.
Right.
Again, the correction, while sharp and scary, it's essentially continuing the path of higher highs and higher lows. So we want to see it hold. If there's any more weakness in corn, we want to definitely see it hold this full square. We don't want to see it take out these lows down here. But corn's bullish, just like wheat looks bullish. Bigger picture still intact. No issues with the structure that we have on a monthly basis right now. Any problems you see on the bullish case with corn, Barry?
Not unless we take out that low.
Right. Yeah, corn looks good. Let's check out the last one of the grains. Again, these rectangles we're using to just sort of give us an idea of if we get one more push higher, like the longer term picture shows, where could we go? On beans, we're looking at 2,300. Currently it closed at like around 1,420. But look at the picture on beans. Like we had this first move up, pull back, found support in this half square area, shot up, made a new high, pulled back. Right now we're making a higher low over this half square. The last month we didn't push down and make a new low this month yet, so it's trying to hold here. The key here we want to see price stay above this half square in the 1275 area, and then the next level on the upside on a big picture monthly basis is this 1565. We clear that, it's up and away, and potentially doing another full box here like we saw. I like the pullback again, just like corn. You have a high, you have a low, you have a higher high, and for now we've got a higher low. If we can solidify this higher low, push up, things continue to look bullish for beans. And again, we're above this huge base. That to me, that's the key here. Just like in corn, you don't want to see this low taken out. Something else is going on if we take out that low.
Right.
We're above that, odds favor we're going to push higher on beans and take out these highs. Any other thing you want to point out here on beans, Barry?
No, we're good. Covered.
Okay. So the grains, as you can see, all have bullish structure. They've had sharp pullbacks. They're in the process of setting up higher lows. Once we get those reversals, which we're looking for on lower time frames, like on the daily, we can be more confident that the odds increased from a bigger picture standpoint that we're going to go make higher highs and the bullish case is still intact on them. All right, let's jump over to the metals, and we'll start with gold. Gold continues to confound everybody, but when you look at it on a bigger picture, on a monthly basis, it's just really nice sideways action. Nothing bearish about that. We're holding this half square, which is a really important level, call it 1670. And the price action is essentially at the highs from 2011, 2012, 2013. Now, if we get stuck under 1670, like push down through it and get stuck under it, something else is going on. Right. But until that happens, this is a bullish sideways correction in an uptrend. The last move in gold, the terminal move in 2011, is this rectangle here. If we do something similar, 2,900 gold. And that's possible. Is it written in stone that it's going to happen? Absolutely not. It just gives us an idea of if we get a similar move that was into the terminal highs, we're looking at 2,900 gold.
Yeah, the potential.
Absolutely. In the meanwhile, 1670 is key. Don't be shocked if we do some sort of clear out, false break here and reverse, but if we get stuck under it, time to reassess.
Mhm.
Otherwise, gold is still bullish. Again, stepping back, taking the 10,000-foot view. What's bearish about that chart? What do you see that's bearish there, Barry?
Nothing yet.
Right.
No,
Anything
it looks
else?
good. It looks good. Half square is pretty solid.
Mhm.
It's just killing time.
So let's see. Let's check the cousin of gold, which is silver. Here's silver. We were looking to see a few months ago if we could hold this full square, which is roughly, call it 2090, 2093, and we didn't. And the last few months we've been stuck under it, completing an ABCD. So we are in a very, very critical spot here. I mean, you can see we're right in the middle of this multi-year base that was set, from 2014 all the way until 2020, 21 when we took off. So this is a pretty critical spot. We want to see gold get above that 2093 area, and then we can confidently say, silver to get above 2093, and then we can confidently say that we're looking at, a bullish situation that's resolving. Right now, it's got pressure. There's a lot of pressure here on it. I'm still bullish, but there's pressure on silver when we're below this 2093. So recapturing that is going to flip the odds dramatically as to which way we're going. Right now, we could push down to this half square, believe it or not, which is 1260. Not highly likely, but it's possible. That would be the end if we're as long as we're under here, the pressure's on silver. Now, what I did put in was the last terminal move, and you can see it lost at the full square here in 2007, came down, pushed below the half square, and then you got this takeoff. Not too dissimilar to what we're doing here, right? We're getting stuck below here. We said, oh, we should be pushing further, just like we should be pushing down here to the full square. It never happened. Do we repeat and then blast off? If we do, you're talking about $58 silver, $59 silver.
All these charts are going to come in handy in about a year.
Yeah. I mean, what do you see when you see this chart, Barry? What jumps out to you?
Well, it's holding. It's not in a bear market, but we're definitely pushing down into test this support level, at least 2019 to 20 area there. So I think long as we can float above that, it's okay. Otherwise, we'll probably have longer to wait. As it is, I feel like it's not as strong as gold, right? As you can see, if it was strong, then we would hold above that square, just like gold is doing.
That's correct.
Right. So it's a little bit weaker, but that's fine.
Yeah.
For me, the key is to watch that 2020, 1920 consolidation, right? If we can hold in there, it's in pretty good shape. If we lose that, then I don't know. It's something else is happening, like you say.
Exactly. We got to reassess. All right, let's jump in and look at copper. Copper's been moving all over the place lately. Key thing on copper, even though we had this huge weakness a couple months ago, look at where we found support. Right where we should, on the full square, on the highs from 2017, 2018. So that was very good from a structure standpoint. And now we're sort of backfilling. We rallied pretty strongly, but we failed at this half square on the first test, which was, call it 380. And we've backed off now. We've made a lower low this month. So we have to see what happens and where this next low is going to come in. As long as we're above this full square, call it in the 319, 320 area, everything's still bullish with copper. I looked at the terminal move in copper in the 2009, 2011 period, put it on this low and said, where could we possibly go and have the potential in copper? 650. 650 copper. But the key level now is this full square. Got to hold that. We hold that. The bulls have something to work off of. It's been really volatile copper too, Barry. What
Yeah.
are your thoughts on it?
Well, it's going through the same sort of the correction all the other commodities are going through. And it's holding pretty much like the other two metals we looked at. You know, we pulled back together, we're holding above key support levels. And we have to kind of continually watch because it could come off of these levels on very short notice. So
Mm-hmm. No question about it. All right, let's jump over to the softs. We'll start with sugar. You know, it helps to look back at history. And I went back and, you know, looked at sugar in the last big move up into its terminal phase and said, okay, let's apply the same move here.
mhm.
The key thing before we go into, you know, potential price targets, that is its correction. It's pretty much sideways.
Very tight, very bullish. Yeah.
Very bullish correction. Like they're not taking it down in price. They're sort of burning time here. You know, we've been going sideways for a year and a half
Yeah.
in a fairly tight range.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This to me, this looks like a market that's waiting for the news or the excuse to rocket higher. And, you know, where could the rocket go? Let's look at the last terminal move in sugar, 45 sugar. We're at 18 now, 18 and
Right.
change. But in the immediate time frame where we're looking at the most important level is this half square, and that's around 1860, 1865 on a monthly basis. If we settle above that, you know, that can give us sort of like, if we push up and then pull back and sit on top of it, it can give us that higher low, you know, with which we can then launch. So
Right.
the 1865 is key right now on a monthly basis. But I want you to, you know, notice this because there's a couple other softs, one other soft that has done this, something very similar to this in terms of the way it's corrected off that, you know, the big move higher.
Mm-hmm.
That's really bullish. So big picture, 10,000 foot view, sugar looks much, much higher. Anything else you want to add on sugar?
Well, just that is very bullish, and this is one of the ones that you have to watch closely because it's very tight and it could move very quickly, pattern wise and technical on the technical side. So
Yeah, and again, look at back at that 2008 to 2011 period. Look at how those moves went in a few months. You know, it doubled, basically went bottom of the square to the top of the square in a couple months.
Yeah.
So it goes, when it goes, it goes. Next up, cotton. Key thing to look at cotton. High came in on the full square. The low came in on the bottom of the square. Right? Pushed a little bit more, but look at the close of the monthly. It was above the full square. Close of this monthly above the full square, well above it. We're pulling back again. So the key on this pullback is, can we hold and can we stay on top of the full square? Because that's going to tell us, that's in about, call it 95.75. That's going to tell us a lot about the bullishness of this market. Why is that full square important? Not only for the geometry, high here, high here, high here, highs here. Holding on top of that is holding on top of this big, long consolidation.
yeah,
That's really bullish.
it's holding on the positive side of the consolidation. So
That's right. That's right. And let's look at the potential here. The last terminal move in cotton was essentially, you know, full square in time, 3 squares in price, three and a quarter squares. We do something similar, $263.
we're into 2025 basically.
Yeah, and you're getting 263 for cotton that today is at 103.
Yeah, well, better get your t-shirts now.
For sure. Anyway, anything else you want to add on cotton?
No, we're good. We're good. I think the main thing is to see where things are in the bigger picture, and which we do on the monthly, you know, and where the levels are. So here we're above the levels, consolidating and holding. We'll see.
It always helps when you zoom out into that monthly because it does put things into perspective, right? The volatility that you're seeing in cotton or copper, you can see it's coming down to a level of support.
Right.
It's coming down to a full square. It's coming down to structural support. So the bullish aspect of it is completely intact.
Right.
All right, next market, cocoa. Cocoa's been in a triangle for, only 7 years now. But the interesting thing is I went back and looked at this consolidation and said, okay, once it breaks, once it goes, and we're kind of getting this pattern right now, with the higher lows like we saw here in 2005, 2006, 2007, took 3 years. Here, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and then we get the move. And if we see this kind of move, once we get the breakout, what's currently Cocoa 2400, we're talking about 4,400, 4,500. So there's a big move coming here. We just have to wait for the break.
Right.
And that's all you can do with cocoa is watch it and wait. Watch it and wait. The potential's there, but you don't want to get caught up in this mess. Just like those other markets look very bullish from a big picture standpoint. This one is chop city from a big picture standpoint. And you don't want to get caught up in this. So let's wait till we get up, sit on top of this full square, and then give us the launching pad. That's the plan.
Yep.
All right. Last one in the softs. It's coffee. This has the same look as sugar. Here's your correction. Little bullish wedge. If we do like we did in the terminal move in 2008, you're talking about $400 coffee. Closed Friday at 228. The key level here on a monthly basis and a weekly on this one is this 210 to 212 area. And you can see why. Those were the highs in 2013, 2014. They were the first thrust highs in 21. As long as we're above that, full scale bullish. Now it's just a matter of when you're going to break out of this little wedge. Coffee looks good. Anything to add on coffee?
No, it's a little bit like sugar, very tight consolidation. And those are the ones you really want to watch, when they break out. So I think sugar and coffee are in that category because of the tight, multi-month consolidation. So
absolutely,
just watch it closely because the move could be huge.
And they're not giving up a lot in price. It's more of burning off time, and that is a very bullish sign.
Right.
All right, let's finish up with the energy. And we'll start with crude oil. Look at where crude's battling right now, Barry. Super important spot. So on a monthly basis, this 87, call it 86 to 88 area is critical because it's a full square.
Right.
We get on top of that, we're ready to go higher. We get stuck below, then we got the potential for here. 75, 76 crude. Either way, even pulling back to 75 or 76, look at the bullish structure there. These 2018 highs are right there. The initial sort of launch off the bottom stalled in this area. So as long as we're below 88, 89 area, probably heading to 75 from a bigger picture.
Exactly.
Even at that spot, it's still very, very bullish. If the lows, this is the terminal move in 2008. If we get lows in this area, 180 crude potential. And maybe it goes from 75. So instead of 180, it's more like closer to the square, which is around 170, 160. Either way, as long as crude can stay above this 75 or 76 area, you're bullish long term.
And if it takes out your full square, you start moving higher.
That's right. If we can settle above 88, 89, then you're ready to go higher as well. And we don't even get that big flush and test here. So we'll see. But overall, bullish market. Last one, natural gas, the widowmaker. I did the rectangle here because I just wanted to see, right? Here's the terminal move in 2002 to 2005. Gets to almost $20 gas.
Yeah. Well, even if you move it down, it's still new highs.
Yeah. So if we go up and do a terminal move similar, you're talking about $18, $19 gas. Right now, the big battle is just under 10 at this sort of 970, 980 area. Right now, we're getting stuck under it. You know, as long as we do, you know, the half square where we found support last month will be the next area of support. But again, look at where the major pullback came to, right to this full square, where the highs in 2009 were, the highs in 2014 were, the initial highs off, you know, and the thrust off the low. It's a bullish market. It's just a matter of, are we a lot like crude? Are we gonna, you know, battle in here and go sideways? Are we gonna have to pull back all the way to the, you know, the half square in the $8 range? Or are we going to do it up here and then get up and sit on top of that for the next launch higher? I mean, gas looks good to me, just like crude does from a big picture standpoint. So, I mean, the summation, that's all the monthlies. We did our quick review. The summation in looking at the charts is equities and bonds and Bitcoin look very bearish. And bigger picture, the commodities remain bullish. This month, you know, I just wanted to add in these, you know, these potential blow off moves we could see on the next move higher, just to give you an idea of what we feel the risk reward potential is when you're buying these things after these pullbacks and into support. You know, I think it's very favorable on a long term basis, and that's why we look at the monthlies to see what that big picture view is.
That's right.
Anything else to add, Barry?
No, we're good. You did a fantastic job. It's a good overview, and we'll do it again.
We'll do it again next month.
Yeah. Yep.
Always look at your monthlies. It'll give you the perspective, and you don't get caught up in the minutia.